Hi there, it's Tim with another edition of Tim's Smoke Review for Newbies. And today we're going to be taking a look at the Innokin, or Innokin, whichever way you say it, the iTaste MVP V2. This is the second version that they've come out of this particular, what I guess they call a box mod. But pretty cool. I really like it. That's your review. Thanks for stopping by today. Just kidding. Um, anyway, wow, it's been quite a journey that we've been on here for the past year, hasn't it? Because it's been just over a year since I quit smoking and started vaping. And I guess the reason why I call this for newbies is because when I first started on my journey to quit smoking, I had to have something that was like a cigarette because it was the habit of doing this. This habit with, and it had to feel like a cigarette in order for me to give up a cigarette. And I know a lot of, when I first started my reviews, that a lot of people were like, man, you ought to do an ego or do this or do that, and tanks and liquids. And it's like, dude, that scares me. All I want is just this little cigarette thing that I stick in my mouth, and wow, it feels like I'm smoking. When I was first trying to quit, that's what I needed. And for a lot of people, you can start out with, batteries that have the tanks on them with the liquid, or, like this little unit here, or one of the Egos or Kagos or, whatever those other ones are. But for me, I needed the cigarette style one to figure out if this is going to work for me, to help me break the habit. And so I didn't research anything about stuff like this or the tanks, but as my experience has gone along and I moved up, to the Vapor for Life, Vapor Zeus with their cartomizers and stuff, and then onto the tanks, and as you can see, I still like my Vapor Zeus a lot. But as a as with anything, things kind of evolve, and this hasn't really become a hobby for me. I mean, it's still taking the place of my smoking, but it was more about getting past the feel of a stick cigarette to get over the cigarette habit. Now my main habit is just the pulling something up to your mouth and taking a puff and having the vapor come out. So I'm what you would call a vapor now, a vapor. And what I really like about this MVP2 is that, number one, it's got a 2600 mAh or milliamp hours battery in it. So it's going to last you, for most people, it's probably going to last 2 or 3 days. Me, I'm, a chain vapor. I've got, this thing going all day long because fortunately I can do it at work. Now, of course, I don't go around blowing major clouds of joy at work. It's more like, just a little puff like that. But I've constantly got this thing, whatever I'm using, going all day long. So to have something like this that lasts and lasts and lasts, you can, plug it in at night, forget about it, wake up in the morning, and you're not going to have to worry about it running out on you during the day. Because, like I say, for most people, it's probably going to last you, a day and a half, 2 days. Maybe I've saw some reviews where some people it lasted up to 3 days or more. But I was really torn between, and this is probably going to be a long video, sorry, but I was really torn between getting this and the Innokin variable volt, variable watt V3, the kind of the square Ego style battery. And I actually ended up getting one of those too. It's on the way, so I'll be doing a review on it. I didn't know which one to get, so I went up to my buddies at Paradise Vapers here in Springfield, my local vape shop, and I like to support my local vape shop whenever I can because it's really really important, and I feel lucky that I have one here where, number one, they're great to deal with, great customer service. When you walk in, they make you feel like a friend, and now they know me by now, But anyway, it's great to be able to walk in and they take the time to go over stuff with you. And I walked in yesterday and I said, I'm ready to make the move to a mod. And they were like, all right, well, let's see what you want, And I said I was interested in the Innokins. They didn't have the VW V3, the iTaste V3, but they had this. They had the SVD, and they had the Cool Fire 2 and the 134 Mini. That 134 Mini is pretty cool. Looks like a Jedi lightsaber. But anyway, I wasn't quite ready to make that move yet. And I really liked the Cool Fire 2. So, Innokin, if you can make the Cool Fire 2, but make it like this, where it's got the huge battery in it. You don't have to put that little battery in it that you have to take out and recharge. If you can make it so that you can, like this one, that you can plug into the USB and charge it, man, I would have bought that in a heartbeat. But considering that, you put that little tiny battery in there, that the reviews I've seen on it only last 4 or 5 hours, I would have bought that one. Because I got to tell you, that little one that looks like the grenade, the Cool Fire 2, it fits really nice in your hand. It's got a real nice button on it. And I'm a thumb vaper, so I use my thumb to click on the button. And that Cool Fire 2 would be really cool. So I mean, if I had a lot of money and I was just wanting to have it just to lay around, since it doesn't last all day, I would have bought it yesterday, no problem whatsoever. But because it doesn't last all day, and because I'd have to pay attention to battery levels and that kind of thing, I didn't get it. And so I got this, the MVP 2, and I was concerned about how it would feel in your hand, because it's this big square box. I'm used to my Vapor Zeus, which is big and round, and oh, it's yummy too. I mean, I got some of my banana cream in this one. Smoke Tech HPC tank on this one. But the thing that started me searching for this, I just didn't know if it would feel right. But they had one out of the box. They said, here, play with it a little bit, see what happens. I put it in my hand, and actually it fits quite well. It's still a little bit strange, coming from the big cigar type battery like this to a square battery. But it's actually very comfortable to hold. It's got a nice click to the button. It's not hard to push, but I mean, I could see where some people would say it's kind of hard to hold in for a while, but that just tells me it's well constructed, that this little button's not going to break off. And it's really easy to find, because as you can see, it's kind of raised on there. Get my ugly fingers out of the way. You see right there, it's got just a little bit of a raise to it. So when you got your thumb searching around here, it's just really, you just go straight to the button. And you're vaping. I'm going to put some links to some guys on there that have some really good reviews on it. And I did research this one a lot. Some of the people that I watched their videos on, for the two of the best instructional videos for the MVP version 2. Of course, P. Basardo, I mean, he goes into all the technical aspects of it and how it's going to perform for you. He didn't like the button, but, that's neither here nor there. Vaping Greek gives a really nice review of the battery and how it works. Grim Green, he's always real cool. Everybody loves Grim Green. And then a bunch of ladies as well that I just loved watching their videos. Let's see, Vaping Cookie. She's a hoot. I love watching her videos. Ruby Roo, love Ruby Roo. She's a hoot as well. And Tia Vapes and Ormanda Orcutt all watched all their videos about the MVP2 and the VV3. Like I said, I'll have a review coming up on it as soon as I get it. I think I'm going to get it like Monday or Tuesday. But for right now, it's just really exciting to have this. With the it goes from variable volts to variable watts, and what that means for people like me who are newbies who have no clue what in the world that means. When you're doing variable volts, you're doing it at like, you know, you'll hear people say, well, it's, well, like on my Zeus. This is 5 volts. It puts out a constant 5 volts. So I had to find a tank, if I want to use tanks, that could handle that amount of, you know, resistance, that amount of power coming out of it, because there's no variance in it. So if you'll remember my reviews on the 510 Vapor Zeus, I was having trouble finding tanks that I could use because I had to get a atomizer inside that would have a high enough ohm to do it. And I finally found out that the 4 ohm atomizers are the ones that will work with the Vapor Zeus. Now, of course, you know, you got your Smilemizers, which are awesome and probably still put out more vapor than any of the tanks that I've had. But like I've said over and over, I like the tanks because when I'm at work, I can see how much vapor I've got. I don't get those dry hits or, you know, nasty burnt atomizer taste because there's no juice in it, because I can see where my juice is at. I'm waving in an airplane. Backing up, nope, nope, oh, nope. I get easily distracted. But anyway, so the Zeus was like 5 volts. That's all, constant 5 volts. So it won't, you either have to come up with a bunch of tanks that got 4 ohm atomizers, which are really hard to find, or you can have like the one that came with this. It's a dual coil. It's got 2.0 ohm. You got these that are anywhere from 1.8 to 2.5, the iSmoka Mega BCCs, which is the one I'm using on it right now. I love those because they're so easy. That's what got me started. I had a iSmoka iGo, and it had mostly I got it because of these tanks, and they're so easy. You just take the bottom off, you fill it up, put it back on, boom. Happily, merrily vaping away. So the nice thing about the variable volt, variable wattage, if you know what voltage, you know, you're comfortable vaping at. I mean, some people it's, you know, 3.5, 3.7 that, you know, a lot of these variable volt batteries will have, you know, like the spinners and those kind of things, or like the dial-a-volt. You find a comfort level. With variable wattage, what you can do is find your wattage that you're comfortable vaping at, and then when you put on all these different tanks, the unit automatically works to get the voltage correct for the ohms in your atomizer. And so once you find your burn level that you're happy with, I think right now, let me see, I'm got this going at 7.5 watts. I get good flavor. I get, you know, great vapor. So I can take this tank, take it off, and this is the iClear 16 that came with the unit. You get 2 of those with the unit. It comes in a real nice little plastic container here. It's got the, we'll get into another part that's really cool about this too, but anyway, it comes in this real nice container here. It comes with, mine came with 2 of the i16 tanks on it. That puts out real good vapor too. But I didn't have to worry about burning up my atomizer in here, because on variable wattage, it automatically adjusts to match the wattage to the ohms. Ohms, kind of feel like I'm chanting here. The ohms of your tank. And let's see, let me take a look here if I can figure out the best way to do it. On this, if you hold down, get my finger out of the way. Press down both buttons. Ohm checker, and that's how much battery I had left. So this is a 2.0 ohm dual coil atomizer that comes in this 16. And that also shows how much battery you have left. I've got 3.8 volts of battery left. But vaping on variable wattage lets you just change from tank to tank to tank, you know, without having to worry about how many volts you're putting into it. Let's see. Oh, here's this. That's the CE8 Plus. Looks a lot and works a lot like the Kanger Pro 2. Let's see, I've got a 4 ohm atomizer in this one because of my Vapor Zeus. So I can take this off and put it on my Vapor Zeus and vape it and not have to worry about it. On this one, that was only at 7.5 watts. Of course, I can go up a lot higher on this one because it's got the 4 ohm stick in it, but I don't have to because it automatically adjusts the volts to you know, give me great taste and really good vape. So I realize in the video I haven't really gone over much about this, but if you want in-depth reviews like all the people that I mentioned earlier, you can go to theirs and see it. All I'm saying is that it took me a year to get to something like this, and something that's hard to understand and you don't get from a lot of reviewers is that this might be good for a newbie if you're not scared of the liquids and the tanks and all that. If you're looking just to get started, you know, if you're just thinking about switching over, this would be a great unit to start with if you don't, you know, if you're not confused by filling up tanks and putting in liquids and what liquids to get. So when I got started, I didn't know about the local vape store, and so I didn't have anybody to physically show me how to do this stuff. So if you have a local vape store, go up and see them, and they'll be more than happy to introduce you into how to, you know, get started with something like this, or, you know, like one of the egos, or, you know, whatever they carry. If you don't, it might be best for you to order something like this. You know, my most popular video is my green smoke video for some reason, but they put out a really good stick battery, cigarette type battery. It's a good way to get you started, you know, on your trek to quitting smoking. The whole thing about it is to get people off real cigarettes. Big tobacco and the pharmaceutical companies hate it because their patches and their drugs don't work. I've tried them all. I tried one of the drugs that, you know, they give out, and I thought I was going to have a heart attack with that damn thing. Got off of it real quick and immediately went back to smoking. And so, you know, the tobacco companies, the pharmaceutical companies, they don't want us vaping because it works. And, you know, if you're buying liquids from some Chinese knockoff company, we've got a place at the mall here that sells liquids, and they sell these, you know, stick batteries that are refillable. It's pure junk what they're selling, and I don't recommend them to anybody. Because when I first got going, I went up to see them, and I got some of their liquid, and it was like this crappy liquid that anybody can buy out of China for $1.50 a bottle, and they were selling it for $20 a bottle. $20 a bottle. Yeah. Well, unless of course you buy like 3, then we'll give you a discount and you can get them for 50. Stay away from crap like that. Okay. Go to a vape shop where they know what they're talking about. They carry branded liquids, and they can tell you what's in the liquids. Because when I went to this place at the mall, they couldn't tell me what's in the liquids. So that's why we're having some problems with, you know, the government wanting to regulate e-cigs, because there's people that are out there putting out crap. Coffee. I told you this was going to be a long video today, but Man, I just can't say enough about the MVP2. Um, I've had it, I got it last night. Puff counter's up to 587. I don't vape much at all. Um, it's just a really, really cool unit. And it also comes with a charger. I haven't even gotten it out yet because I'm not going to need it until tonight. But this has a cool deal on the bottom of it. Not only can you use it as a pass-through, you know, because it's got the USB charging on it, but you can charge with the USB and charge your phone, charge another e-cig. It's got a little button over here that you turn on, plug in your USB, and if you're in an emergency, your phone dies, you can plug your phone into it, it'll charge your phone. Or if you've got, you know, another e-cig that charges off of USB, plug it in, charge your e-cig. So this is really an amazing, amazing product, and I'm really, really happy that I got it. And I'm just going to be spending my day vaping away. Anyway, I realized there wasn't really much of a review, but I just wanted to let newbies know that if you've got a good vape store like Paradise Vapers here in Springfield, Missouri, you can go in and see them, and you might even want to start out with something like this. You will find that as you get into vaping, that these e-cigs, this people call them the stick-alikes, after doing it for a little while, you're going to want more because you'll start, you know, investigating it, and you'll see other people with cool mods like this, and you'll be going, man, they get a lot of vapor, and you know, their thing lasts all day, and this burns out after 5 hours. And that was one thing with the e-cigs like this. The cartridges, they say, last as long as a pack of cigarettes. Some say 2 packs of cigarettes. And I was going through 2 of these little cartridges a day, and I'm like, this is going to get really expensive, especially like with green smoke, because they're one of the most expensive. Good. This is the red on here. I like the flavor that comes out of it. It's not near the vape that I get out of this. So anyway, that's today's video, and I realize I've rambled on, which I have a habit of doing, but can't speak enough about the Innokin MVP2. Nice button. It's got the beauty ring here, so if you have some tanks that go all the way down, you can take the beauty ring off and it sets perfectly. Taste it, love it, Innokin. The MVP2, this is the version 2. Oh, and by the way, you'll see some videos where they talk about the button down here. This is a newer model. They just got it in where I got it. And Innokin has listened and made that button so that when you set it down, it will sit straight up. It doesn't wobble. When this originally came out, it had a problem with the button it was protruding, so you couldn't put it down. No, it was protruding so that when you set it down, it would wobble. But they've taken care of that in these newer versions that you can get now. Set it down and it sits up just perfectly. Little bit of rattle on the buttons, hardly noticeable, hardly even worth mentioning. The button's not that hard to push. $2,600 milliamp battery. You can go from 3.3 to 5.0 volts in 0.1 volt increments. On the variable wattage, you can go from 6.0 to 11.0 watts in 0.5 watt increments. And like I said, right now I found a comfort level for me right now. It's 7.5, I think is what it is. Yeah, 7.5, 590 on the puff counter. Everybody complains about the puff counter every time you hit the thing, but you know, when it's brand new, it's kind of cool. I can see where it's going to get irritating after I've had it for several days, and I just want to see what wattage or voltage I'm vaping at, but not a nothing that's going to make me not want to use it anyway. So that is the MVP2. Love the fact that you can use all these different tanks on it. Just like I said, it's the Pro Tank 2 knockoff, the CE8 Plus. It works real well. 16, the Innokin clearmiser that comes with it. That's the Wow tobacco from Vapor for Life. Oop, there we go. Wow tobacco from Vapor for Life. That's a really good vape. If you still like, some people don't, once you get into this, don't even like the tobacco flavors anymore. But if you do like a tobacco flavor, that's probably the best tobacco flavor that I've tasted out there. Wow tobacco from Vapor for Life. So I think I'm pretty well done. Is there anything else that you want to know about it? Or if you want an in-depth review, like I said, check out the Vape and Geek, Vaping Cookie, P. Bizardo, Ruby Roo, Grim Green. They all do great full in-depth reviews. My review today was just more about the ease, and if you're thinking about getting going, it's a good unit to start with. Or if you're just not happy with the little stick cigs anymore and you need more power, need more vapor, don't spend a lot of money going through all that other stuff. Anybody that's had this is going to tell you this is the great next step, the best next step you can make in your vaping experience. The MVP2, I wish I would have gotten mine 8 months ago. And don't get me wrong, I still love my Vapor Zeus. 5 volts, it puts out a great vape. But with this, I can use whatever atomizer or whatever tank on there I want to. So that's the one of the biggest reasons why I got that. So I'm probably going to have to totally redo this whole video because it's almost 30 minutes long. I can ramble. I'm Tim. I don't stink anymore. Have a great day.